April 4th and it's a beautiful, beautiful day today. I'm just getting into the garden so that I can do a bit of cleanup. I don't want to traipse too much through all the beds because it's going to end up compacting the soil. It's still quite moist in the ground, so make sure that, excuse me, if you're doing any cleanups, try to stay in the driest areas. I have some path areas and that's what I'm sticking to today. So basically what I'm looking at is I'm going to cut back perennials that I have left up last fall for winter interest. So basically these three plants here, it's Amsonia, and if I go down and look at the base of the plant, I can see that new growth is starting to come up. I left these up because I know it's hard to find them in the springtime, so I like having an indication of where they are. So basically I just take my pruners and I go down as close to the ground as I possibly can and I snip them back. And that's about it. You can see the new growth in here, and now the plant is just going to be quite happy. And don't worry, if you don't get this done today, it doesn't really matter. Plants can go through, grow completely through old growth, so even if it doesn't happen at all this year, it's just going to look a little unsightly, but it's not going to affect the plant in the least bit. So that's one Amsonia, and this one here. You know, it's just a quick cleanup. And this guy over here. So now I'm done with these. Over here, I have a planting of Sporobolus. It's an ornamental grass that grows back in the springtime, but I leave it up for winter interest. So I'm going to go in there and cut these back as well. And basically what I do is I just take the clump and I cut as close to the ground as possible. And it's not always the easiest thing to do, and you're not going to have a perfect shear. But once the new growth comes through, it's not really going to matter at all. And if you look in close here, you can see that new growth is already starting. So one thing you want to make sure of doing with your ornamental grasses, those that grow early on in the springtime, like this guy, Calamagrostis is another one, you want to make sure to get in there early enough to not cut off the growing tips. So I'll do that with the rest of these perennials. And then if you come down here, this is a miscanthus that I left up. It had a rough go last 2 years ago, and only half of the clump came back. So I left what did come back. I left it up for winter, so it traps a lot of the snow. So these guys I can cut back now and just get down as close to the ground as possible. Keep in mind that any of the miscanthus will not show any growth until at least end of May, depending on how warm the spring is. These are all Calamagrostis, Carl Foresters, and these started growing already, and that's what this is the grass that you want to get out and clean up in your garden as soon as possible. As you can see here, that's all the new growth that has already shot up. If I cut down to here, I'm going to be cutting off all the growing tips of this plant. So what I would do in this case, if you get it in too late, just break the grass away and try to cut as few growing tips off as possible. And there you go. Another one. Yeah, I think we're going to get into pruning shrubs a bit later. So I have to clean up all of my Calamagrostis, Miscanthus, Heterobolus, and then I also cut back my sedum, which I left up for winter interest. I'll be doing my astilbe as well. And that's going to be my cleanup for the day today. And staying, like I said, as much off the ground as possible. Enjoy your gardening day.